This is Gateway City Sports.
It's a trap!
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
This is the Team of Rivals podcast.
Everything you want to hear from the big sports to the big screen.
He's all by himself, fires into the end zone. Caught! Touchdown! No!
Vaughn into the windup in his first offering. Just a bit outside. He tried the corner in this.
Doesn't like you. I don't like you either.
Time winding down. Michael for three. Yes! She is gone! I can't believe what I just saw.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
You believe in miracles? Yes!
You may fire when ready.
What?
What's up, Cubs and Cardinals fans? Welcome to Season 7 of the Team of Rivals podcast, proud members of Gateway City Sports Network, where you can find great podcast and blog content. This is the weekend of January 6th, 2023. You can follow us on social media at Team of Rivals Pod or find us online at teamofrivalspodcast.com. And for those of you who prefer to watch the show, we also occasionally stream live and also post after the fact to YouTube, Facebook, and Rumble. So hit the like and subscribe buttons and be sure that notifications are on so that you know anytime we post new content. Yes, it's our first episode of 2023. No, it's not our first episode of Season 7 because I went back and updated the previous two that we recorded because we've always started the new seasons at the winter meetings, and somehow we just got caught up in the routine and thought that those were still part of Season 6, but they're not. They're Season 7. So this is Season 7, Episode 3. And, you know, look, we were going to announce this tonight, that we had signed Elliott to a huge 13-year, $312 contract. But then his medicals came back. And so Ron and I are looking into it. But our understanding is that Elliott's agent has once again reached out to a couple of other teams and is trying to bring them in. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, we're here. It's Season 7.
Really trying to force your guys' hand on this one.
That's
so
right.
I told my agent, reach out to those other guys.
Hey, you know what? If you can get $313, go ahead and you take it. In fact, if you can get $1, you take that.
You got it.
My only incentive,
Also, obviously,
my only
joining
incentive to not let him do that is I have to redo the goddamn logo again.
Hey, we still have the old logo. We can just repurpose it.
Repurpose it. We could bring that one back. That was a pretty unique logo. I don't know why we ever got rid of it.
You know, I actually have thought about when I posted some of the podcasts when it's just you and I've thought about changing that episode's artwork to the old logo, just because why would we continue to put Elliott's face up if he's not?
Well, we've been talking about not just going back to you and I artwork when he's not on. We just talked about going back just you and I, period.
That's that too. In case, obviously, I haven't introduced him, but
who's the other team? Is it Meet Me at Musial? Who the hell is it?
What's that?
So agent's been talking to somebody else.
I don't know. Look, there's always a mystery team.
I don't have to give that information up.
That's right. He doesn't.
Well, it wouldn't be Meet Me at Musial. That's a Cardinals thing. So
no.
And fuck your hat.
Elliott's gonna restart the Cubs Cards cast.
I'm gonna go get White Claw wasted with Kyle Reese is what I'm gonna go do.
I don't know if he'd do that, but maybe.
Are you ready to take your shirt off for no reason whatsoever and start obsessing about Tyler O'Neill? Just saying. I think that's a prerequisite to broadcast.
I don't think he's a Tyler O'Neill. Well, I don't know. Maybe he is. He gave him the nickname, I guess.
So, gentlemen, I mean, obviously the big news, I thought we were going to start with something else tonight, but the big news is that, who is it? Heyman, I think, is report. And look, he's been out in front on all the other Correa reporting. Heyman's reporting that after 2 weeks of of nothing but they're making progress. They're working through the contract and everything. Apparently Scott Boras has reached out, and it sounds like it's at least been confirmed that they have re-engaged with the Twins. But apparently there's a mystery team. Who could that team be?
Maybe one of those teams that never made an offer in the first place and really liked them.
I'm guessing it's the Dodgers.
Yeah, it's not the Cubs.
Well, I mean, because he's not going to get another I would think the only team that's willing to offer him still any kind of long-term deal now is the Twins. Like their original deal is still on.
I don't know. I mean, you got to wonder how they feel about that, though, right? Like, is that like going back to the ex after you turned her down? I guess because the new person wasn't interested. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. But if you're suffering from self-esteem issues,
if that ex is 34, 24, 36, then I'm going back to her.
Fair point, Elliott.
Yeah. Is that slash line?
Yes.
Okay.
No, those are contract terms.
Yeah. No shit.
Yeah, this is a little bit of an interesting saga, but I don't know if you guys have read any more detail on exactly what the hell's wrong with him, but
well, yeah,
there's got to be a team or two out there that's willing to. I mean, look, that mystery team, it might be the team, the hat you're wearing there, Elliott, for all we know. I wouldn't put it past them. They're hitting on everything. They are the quagmire of baseball teams. All right.
God,
got to change their mascot to that guy.
If they signed him, I would just love it if their tweet was just him giggity. Right?
Yeah. They are, man. I mean, when they don't get the free agent, they just ask for one of the free agent's socks.
That's right. No, there's no detail. I have to imagine that it's not the Padres. I can't see the Padres being in on him. But I think that at this point, and this was the point I was going to kind of get to, is outside of the Twins, I don't see any other team saying, "Oh yeah, no, we'll give you $12 million," or I'm sorry, 12 years and $300 million. I think now you're looking at high AAV short term, right? Like one of the for a high priority free agent, it'd be the equivalent of a prove it deal, right? So somebody like us, we would sign 1 year and we'd have to prove that we're actually good. So this could be 3 or 4 years at 35 million.
Well, and no matter what the term is, it's still a 1 year opt out after that, right? I mean, you'd have to think so.
Yeah.
Right. Prove you're healthy.
Yep.
But that's not something, I mean, I don't know that if I'm a team, I would give him a 1 year opt out on that because, okay, so you made it 1 year, like prove anything.
Depends on the team's window, right? If they're pretty sure, hey, if he has a pretty good year and he can enter free agency again next year and finally score that 9-year deal or that 10-year deal when these fell through. I mean, a team that has a short-term window to win that may be appealing. But I don't know. He's not going to get the size of deal that we talked about before, which is why he's reached out to other teams, I guess.
And that's why I kind of wonder if this isn't just a ploy by Boras to try and ratchet things up a little bit to get this thing finished.
I think GMs are like, I know we like to critique the dumb shit we believe they do, but I have to think most front offices understand that he does that, and they're probably saying the same thing. Mystery
at
team,
this
fine,
point,
whatever.
we're 6 weeks out from spring training, guys. I mean,
yep. But as we know,
but the way things have been going the last 2 or 3 years, that seems like an eternity to sign a free agent, right?
That's true.
As we know, though, with Boras, it doesn't matter whether or not he's reached out to a front office. Matters whether or not he's reached out to the owner.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Sometimes if he doesn't want to, he just take me straight to your manager. I don't want to talk to you.
Right.
It's like the old days at Sears, Pete. They don't want to talk to us.
They want to talk to Jake.
Jake. When he found out that I had taken the same job responsibility he had, like literally like 2.5 years later, he said, "You've got to be fucking kidding me." They're like, they'll hire anybody for that.
Yeah, they hired you.
Yeah. What a dumb move.
I mean, I'm saying that to him. I'm not saying that to you.
Yeah, I mean, both ways. I mean, it doesn't matter.
You're one to talk, Jake, because they hired you. So careful.
Nobody knows what we're talking about. This guy was, tool is the most common word used, but there are other descriptions.
He was a nice guy, but he was a tool.
He's definitely a nice guy, but a tool. And I don't want to talk about Jake. I did not walk into this year or this night even wanting to think
we were
about
going
it.
to talk about Jake.
Yeah.
Come on, one of these nights, we're going to have a Sears Electronics Greatest Hits episode where we're going to go through the whole roster.
We got to chase down Chad. Shittiest breath ever.
Where I bought my first flat screen TV was.
I know
Sears.
I could get Corrigan.
I think we all did, Elliott.
I still am in touch with Corrigan. We could get him on.
Corrigan.
Did you work with him?
No.
He was one of the 3 Erics.
I don't recall the name.
It must have been just before your time.
Yep.
Mac will remember him though.
All right. Well, back on to
baseball. Talking straight to the manager.
Yeah.
Elliott, are you feeling better now?
I am. I mean,
because of the big Tucker Barnhart signing, right?
Yeah, huge. And he's on the Compound podcast.
I know it just dropped this evening. Saw that.
I have not listened to it yet.
I don't know if you caught that, Ron, but the Cubs have replaced Wilson Contreras with Tucker Barnhart. So NL Central is ours.
Well, it's not just one guy, right? They've got a couple.
Looking great.
Yeah, baby.
Tucker Barnhart. There you go.
Tucker Barnhart. And what am I doing?
I don't know. I'm waiting for it.
I don't know why I skipped right over it. Forget about Tucker Barnhart. We got prestige value on a league.
I thought that's where you would start.
Baby.
I really felt that's where you would start. I'm really shocked you went to Tucker Barnhart.
Well, I was trying to go with the least underwhelming signing of the last.
Oh, you're going to
month.
work your way up. Okay.
I was going to work my way up, but I just skipped right over it. Baby, we got prestige value and
the funniest
Central.
Part of this to me, and that's why I'm not really sure what your motivation was, Elliott, for wearing a Padres hat tonight. I'm guessing it was to piss me off.
Well, it's a twofold.
Twofold, right? So that's fine. The funniest thing about that is, Hosmer's always been an okay player, right? But not one that even I think when mid last decade, right, when he was I guess a star of the Royals, whatever that means. They're a world champion team, so they're pretty damn good. It just never felt to me like a player you wanted to build a team around. And he definitely wasn't that in San Diego. The funniest part of this whole thing is that they're going to pay him what, $33 million, something in that neighborhood over the next 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah, 17 million per.
And if the Cubs were to keep him for 2 years, which they're not, they would pay 1.5. I think it is.
Right, because they're only paying $750,000.
That's the best part of this whole thing. I don't care who he signed with. Just you don't care if he would have stayed in Boston. It's great. It really is.
Yep. It is.
Yeah.
And the really sad thing is, he provided more value to Boston last year than the Cubs first baseman did. So I mean,
the culmination of Cubs first baseman.
Yeah. Yes. Well, you know what?
So by that analysis, the Cubs have improved at first base.
Yes.
When Hosmer initially vetoed the trade from for Soto, that brief moment in time was the most power he's had in years.
Oh yeah.
So good luck to Eric Hosmer. He'll probably tear the cover off and ball for the Cubs. That would be my luck.
One can only hope, but still, it's the Cubs. So he may do it against the Pittsburgh Pirates, and that's probably it.
Yeah, well, I see a lot of people, get a lot of Cub fans, and you've seen on the Facebook, the couple remaining Facebook, the shit talking groups, right, are the only fun groups to be in on Facebook anymore. You can't be on purely just a fan site anymore for one single team. It's just fucking miserable. So I go to the trash talking. It's pretty funny. There are a lot of Cubs fans excited about just, and I've seen the term hodgepodge thrown together, but it's interesting when you catch a bunch of guys that are trying to kind of maybe reestablish themselves, like Cody Bellinger, maybe Hosmer's trying to salvage whatever he's got left. It is interesting sometimes you bring a group of characters like that together. Mixed with the signing of Dansby Swanson, a couple arms that you guys have brought in. The pitching, the catching situation has been addressed, I think, by a platoon of players, really. You never know what you're going to get. There's a bunch of new names on the back of the jerseys next year. So if nothing else, you've got some newness into the roster, some recognizable names for Cubs fans, right? So Not a terrible thing. I don't know what the expectations are. I don't know what you guys' expectations are, but I don't see anything really negative in any of the moves they've made. Maybe be some people getting too excited, but I don't think any harm will come from it. I actually think it'll create a little energy that wouldn't have been there otherwise.
I think the funny thing about it is that I think if you asked pretty much any Cubs fan, they're going to say that this offseason has been underwhelming. I don't know that I've talked to a single Cubs fan who is thrilled about what the Cubs have done this offseason, but
hang on.
I think they've raised the floor.
I'm going to read one for you, but keep going.
Okay. I think they've raised the floor this year. I'm not, arguing that they're going to make the World Series. I don't even know if they're going to make the playoffs. I think they're going to be in a dogfight to get a wild card spot, but maybe 100%. Not even that. I think this year in the Central, it's going to be the Central Division title or you're out. Because I just don't think the Central is going to be that good. But I think that on balance, I think they've raised the floor and they've certainly improved their chances of competing this year than they did last year. Ron, you and I have talked about it before. I think going into this year is kind of, Elliott, would you agree? I think my expectations for this year is where we thought we were going to be in 2015, where the prospects were going to start showing up and we were going to see positive progress.
Yeah.
I never expected the Cubs to rip through the second half of the season and end up knocking out the Pirates and the Cardinals in the playoffs and coming close to making it to the World Series. I'm not expecting that at all this year.
Absolutely not. I mean, there's the National League has some freaking powerhouses, and there's going to be some powerhouses in the wild card, which is going to be difficult, just like last year, because those wild card teams for the most part were 90-win teams. I don't expect the Cubs to be anywhere close to that. I mean, they surprised me the second half of last season by playing 500 ball. My expectation this year is that's what they'll do the entire season, is hopefully play 500 ball, maybe be 5 games up. And I would call that a successful 2023 season. Now, could a fluke happen again where we have some of these guys just absolutely start tearing the shit out of the ball in the minor leagues and come up and make an impact? Baseball is weird. Anything can happen. But my expectation right now is no. More development, maybe come up in the second half of the season, see you in 2024.
From a Cubs fan out there on Facebook, one of my favorite. Cardinals fans are getting nervous. Cubs are picking up some pieces. They solidified their defense at catcher with Gomes and Barnhart, and don't forget the name Miguel Amaya. They signed another starter or two in Tyon and Smiley. They have an infield of Wisdom, Swanson, Horner, and Hosmer, Bellinger, Morel, and young stud named Brennan Davis, and Pete Crow Armstrong in the outfield. If we can get some bullpen arms and stay healthy, we could be dangerous. Cuck the Cardinals.
Okay. 1, PCA, Brennan Davis, and Miguel Amaya are not going to make it to Wrigley this year. If they do, it's going to be a cup of coffee at the end of the year. Brennan Davis, Miguel Amaya are both coming off injuries and basically lost seasons last year. There's no way they're going to have an impact on the Cubs this year. It's just not going to happen. PCA is too far away. He's not going to make it all the way up to Wrigley this year. And then really, you think that an infield of Wisdom, Swanson, Horner, and Hosmer is going to, he's high on prospects, but he doesn't mention Matt Mervis. Really?
Right.
Mervis.
Well, and that's the thing. Yes. Mervis
is probably going to be the starting first baseman.
He'll be the bench. He'll be one of the bench guys unless he has an abysmal spring training.
Yep.
I mean, Hosmer's going to be your first baseman half the time. So,
yep. Well, if you heard that, excited Cubs fans out there, if you got a nice bowl of Cheerios in front of you, Pete just peed in them.
That's right. And enjoyed it.
I'd do it again.
I am not going to look. I love this team, and I've questioned some of the front office's decisions, especially over the last couple of years. I think that they've got a plan, and it's hard for the rest of us who are not in the office to understand it. But there is no way I'm getting excited about this team running away.
What are you excited about these days? I have to ask this honestly because, the Blackhawks are Blackhawks. The Bulls.
Oh God, they're freaking awful.
Are we talking about from a sports perspective?
I'm trying to. No, I'm gonna go. Just let me finish. I got a few of them here because I'm just wondering these days what does Pete get out of bed excited for? Because you've got your sports teams in Chicago, and there's nothing great right now. Nothing great. And I'm talking about the major sports. So don't pull up some obscure like roller derby team you just became a fan of last week. I don't want to hear about it. But so we got all the Chicago sports, like not so great right now. You're out on Disney Plus. We can't even talk about the thing that Pete, I'm worried because the things that brought us together as friends right now, he's not high on either of them. In fact, he shut one out completely. He's turned to Luke on the little island, a pissed off boy out there in Octu, and he cut himself off from Disney Plus and the Force and Star Wars. We can't even talk about any of that shit anymore.
I have plenty of Star Wars content I can watch.
Yeah, I don't want. Okay, well,
rewatch.
I know.
That's right.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like anything, So we've like, I just want to know what is it that puts a smile on your face these days, and don't tell me it's this stupid show we do on Thursday.
Okay. Well, no, every day. No, you're right. This stupid show does not put a smile on my face every day, every morning.
It's been a while, folks. It's come through with the quality. I know that from all of us.
See. No, hey, wait a minute. I would say that our 2 episodes in December were pretty darn good. I was pleased with them.
I didn't go back. I never go back and listen to them anyway. But
I know you don't. Let's see. I mean, obviously, the boy brings a smile to my face. Tomorrow is I still have one more day off before I go back to school on Monday. So it's got me smiling. I spent the day
at the back yet. Oh shit.
No, we went right up to the 23rd.
Okay. All right.
Let's see. I spent the day at the Field Museum today. That brought a smile to my face. I was looking forward to that when I woke up this morning. I got a date tomorrow night. That brings a smile to my face.
Okay.
Congrats.
See, so you don't have to congratulate me, Elliott. I mean,
I don't do that anymore. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait until I'm gonna wait for a little bit
to congratulate me.
Yeah,
probably a good idea. I've had a lot of first dates recently.
That's because you always use your opt-out clause.
That's right. I
wouldn't give you one of those.
It'd be inaccurate to describe it as a lot of pillow contracts.
Wait a minute. Remember where the button's at.
Tell us the lesson.
Oh. All right, keep going. Are you? Did you think it was that funny? You're still laughing?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. Usually, since we do an audio thing, you gotta laugh. We gotta adjust your laughs. People can tell you're laughing. That big long. I didn't know if he was having a stroke or what. Okay.
That better.
Which is sensitive right now since we got a player in the NFL that had
that's true.
You didn't have a stroke.
Well, you didn't have a stroke.
A heart attack.
Heart attack, yeah.
Yeah, cardiac arrest. That was my son texted me about that, and I flipped over to the game, and I'm like, that is some wild shit. And they eventually saw a replay of just him falling backwards, falling over, and I'm like, that's scary as hell, man. That looked like a normal play that we've seen how many thousands of times? Like, it didn't look like there was a hard hit or anything, man, but yeah.
Well, I mean, you do it just right during a beat.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's when it can cause that.
Well, they say they got whatever those
stuff.
martial arts that the touch of death, right? Like,
yeah.
I read this. I was on the train into the city this morning. I was reading about it. They said that it's a situation that there's like a 1% chance of it happening, right? Because there's that one moment when the heart is changing it's basically in between beats, right?
Yeah.
And it's changing its polarity from negative to positive in order to get to the next beat. So there's like a 1% chance of it happening, except that when you're engaged in physical activity, the heart is beating more
faster,
quickly.
yeah.
And
Right.
so it's still 1%, but it's 1% of a greater proportion.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, man, that was scary. When I saw that video, I was like, no way.
Yeah.
Because I read about it. I saw it on Twitter and everything. And it's like,
imagine being
this
a player.
video is going to be horrible. And then you see it and it didn't look like anything.
Just imagine being a player. I mean, you don't go in an NFL game without there being some kind of timeout or break because, somebody got injured on the field. And you always think, hey, is this a concussion? Does somebody just get a stinger? Injuries happen all the time. You see medical staff constantly running out on an NFL field to check on a player. Yep. But imagine all of a sudden you see CPR being performed.
Right.
Then you're like, what the hell? This is not, I can't imagine the shock. I mean, just as a fan watching, I didn't catch it when it actually happened. But, I mean, just as a fan in the stadium, you probably couldn't see a whole lot if you were in the stands. But, guys, imagine being a player down there on the field, and all of a sudden they're, pounding your buddy's chest trying to revive him. That's weird. That's got to freak you out.
Well, and also, you think about it even in the worst ones, right, where a guy does get carted off the field or the ambulance comes on to take him off, and they put him on the backboard and they stabilize his neck and everything. Even with a neck injury or a really bad concussion. I mean, even think about Tua Tagovailoa when he got hit that one time and like his fingers were seized, right?
Up, yeah.
He was still conscious. So, even in those bad neck injuries or concussions, they're still able to talk to the guy. That's got to be the freaky thing is all of a sudden the guy's just laying there.
Yeah.
And he's not unconscious. I bet his eyes were probably open and that's what freaked him out, right? Yeah. All of a sudden your buddy is lying there and he is completely dead.
Well, one, it sounds like he's doing better now. But still, I think football,
it does.
It's going to be, that'll be an interesting one with all the, concussion things that are happening now, especially with, high profile quarterbacks. And you got this issue here. It'll be interesting offseason how they attempt to address this or how the league chooses to try to dodge it, I guess. I don't know.
If the NFL, they're going to freaking stick their heads in the sand and say this was a freak accident and then leave it at that and then try and never talk about it again.
Yeah, I don't know. I know it's in a football show, but I mean, I thought we'd bring it up. Pete, you have to have other things. So if you want to keep going around the horn here to the Cubs, I mean,
I do want to hear like Elliott.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you ranted for like 30 seconds, which for you is like 35 minutes. So to be fair, but you ranted the last time we got together.
Uh-huh.
So now with the Hosmer and Barnhart and who's the guy that they signed today from the Rockies?
I missed that.
Yeah, he's going to be their AAA catcher. So obviously PJ Higgins is on his way out.
He hasn't
been announced yet. No, well, been DFA'd, but nothing's been
DFA'd.
announced.
Right.
Well, before we let Elliott like pick up, his second chapter here of or maybe it's walking it back, but anyway, regardless, when we turn it over to him, Pete, we have to listen to it. It's always unpleasant. The other thing that's unpleasant and stressful is buying a new car. We know it doesn't have to be. So Fifth Street Motors, located in Pacific, Missouri, will help you find the vehicle you need no matter what brand. Fifth Street Motors believes in giving you the best price on a pre-owned vehicle that will fit your budget. Give Brandon or Dawn a call today at 573-259-1306 and tell them Gateway City Sports sent you.
So go for it, Elliott.
Yeah. You know what? I was underwhelmed. Like I kind of figured they were going to sign Dansby, and I was just like, I had never heard the guy talk. I had never heard him interview or anything like that. I was a little more high on him after listening to the press conference. I mean, they addressed the need, which is great. He's going to make the team better. Their defense has been terrible the last few years. And we know that. We see it in the metrics. We see it in the play. It's just, it's bad. He's not going to knock the ball around. Like, the Cubs need offense. And I don't feel like they really address that except for if they're thinking they can catch lightning in a bottle with Bellinger. But he's going to make the team better. I'm not super excited about, having Swanson on the team. I'm glad they did something and brought in one of the better free agents. Shifting Nico over to second. Nico is a fantastic defensive player. Again, not going to knock the ball off the cover. It's not addressing the offense that needs to happen. And they still let players slip through their fingers that they could have brought in to make the offense better. I felt like they could have done a little bit more to go after somebody for first base rather than doing this Hosmer signing. So, and then addressing third base. I mean, another year of Patrick Wisdom swinging at everything isn't still going to do it. He's going to connect probably with 20, 25 balls this year that are going to go out, but he's still going to strike out 45% of the time. So, yes, thank you, Pete. Knock the cover off the ball. Sorry.
Did you mark the time?
I marked the time.
Okay.
Bastards.
Yeah, we're good.
What was the other one from last year?
Oh, I got that.
A breath of fresh air.
Breath of
breath. Oh, wait, you got to share. You got to allow me to share because you can't hear it when I play my audio cues, can you?
I can kind of hear it, but
that's a fresh of breath air. No? There you go.
Yeah, I can hear it.
Right next to each other. Oh, I'm going to have to figure this out. I mean, Ron, you know how these sound pads are set up. They're in pairs, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have to figure something out because like this one may have to move.
Oh, you're gonna move the Ian
pretty
Happ
much.
one
Ian
again,
Happ has the job, and if he gets 500-600 at bats at leadoff this year, he's probably going to lead the game off at least 15 times this year with a home run, and that's just at leadoff.
It is out of the realm of possibility.
Thank you. I'm
no problem. No problem.
That's awesome.
You got to download the Roadie program to move those around, Pete. I think
I've got it.
You can move them around on that.
Yeah, I've got it. I know how to move them around.
All right. Well, it's all about.
I mean, of course. I mean, that's how I uploaded them. Not to get into the technical terms.
Well, not to get into technical terms, but you guys know that, by making these multiple signings, one lesson the Cardinals obviously haven't learned yet is how to protect themselves as far as pitching and depth. And it's important to stay protected. And sometimes life throws you a curve, and that's why not a lot of good curveballs on that staff outside of Waino. And that's why you need Allstate. The Wiley Group has 2 locations located in Festus and Arnold to serve you. They offer home, auto, boat, motorcycle, business, life insurance, investments, and so much more. They offer a customized approach that is unique to your situation to make sure you, your family, and assets are properly protected. They offer great rates and savings. Give Sean and his team a call today at 636-764-6294. They'll help you find an insurance quote right over the phone. We all have busy lives. You can email Sean at seanwiley@allstate.com and talk to him about your coverage options. And remember, you're in good hands with Allstate.
Woohoo.
That's over.
That's good. That's a good question that you've got there, Ron. What have the Cardinals done this offseason?
So I put a poll out on Twitter. Let me go to it real quick here. Got an interesting but predictable, I think, response. I asked, my question was, let me get to it here. Are the Cardinals the Southwest Airlines of the off season? They just shut down and froze. About 50 people responded to this one. It was a little, not a big response, but it was still about 50 people. So I think a proper, statistical sample size, so it's relevant, right? It's about 50 people answered. About 63% said yes. 6% said no. And almost 31% said shut your whore mouth.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Is it shut your whore mouth because you are correct, or is that?
I think it's just because I was,
or just because you are.
I think if you give people the option to say something shitty about you, they're going to elect it every time. So I'm a little surprised it actually wasn't higher, but still, I think the overwhelming majority is yes. The Cardinals have just basically shut down. Elliott, to answer your question, they addressed their biggest need, but they clearly have needs elsewhere. Look, I could almost give them a pass on not getting another bat. Well, I could almost give them a pass on not getting another bat, okay? Because, I think, you could argue if you look at the full season, I think they were like a top 5, top 7, something offense. I think it wasn't bad. Now, that's over 162 games, so it doesn't take into account that, that month of shitty June or whatever it is, right? So you kind of, right. And you lose games during those. But I can almost say like, okay, I could form an argument to say I wouldn't go all in on a bat right now. But I think the last 2 years, you've had to trade for pitchers in July. because you did not bulk up on it or use
Don Lester, Jose Quintana.
Right. I mean, and they had to get 2 pitchers last year. Jordan Montgomery was the other one.
Yeah.
Jay Happ and Lester the year before. You're going in with another fragile, I think, rotation. A lot of health questions around it. You have age and health, right? So I don't think there's a lot of sure bets outside of maybe Miles Michaelis that'll make it from beginning to end, but even he had issues last year. So I don't know. It's very fragile, right? I mean, a talented staff, if it can show up, what are you going to get out of Jack Flaherty? Is he going to return to 2019 form?
Yeah.
I just don't know. They could have done more there. And I'm not saying I'm still pissed that they didn't bring Quintana back at that price.
And obviously that's going to be the biggest question from the media and from the fans for this offseason. When they asked the front office, why didn't you go after these guys when the cameras are on and the mics are in front of them, is it expected that they're going to say, well, we like what we have. We're going to run with this and see where this team goes. We've got the offense to do it. We just need some guys to step up, and we've got some guys in the minor league. Is that going to be their default answer that you've probably heard the last couple of years from them?
I don't think the Cardinals are,
because you can only play that record so many times.
Well, I know. Well, they've played it in all aspects of the game, right? No matter what, defense, offense, no matter what you're talking about, you hear the same thing. A signing even like, holy shit, like Contreras. Wow, I couldn't remember the name for a second. I had a micro stroke. Even a signing like Wilson Contreras is still rare for the Cardinals to give a free agent contract player a contract of that value. It's just not very common for them. Usually they have to get him in uniform first, and then they'll extend him for that kind of money. I don't think we're ever going to see them spend on top tier pitching in the free agent market. I just don't see them going that route. They'll do that mid tier every once in a while. Like you'll see a Steven Matz or a Mike Leake signing, but man, you just won't see anything beyond a free agent signing like that. Now, don't rule out a trade. There still is some time left. So maybe they're working on something like that, and they're just kind of keeping it under the radar. If they're smart, they do that. But now, as far as any of the arms that were for sale this offseason, I'm not terribly shocked. But I thought Quintana was just a smart one. Not that he's an ace, guys. I'm not suggesting at all that they bring Jose Quintana back and he's going to be a shutdown, losing streak stopper type of pitcher. He's just not that. He's like a 4 or 5 guy in your rotation, but he's depth and he can eat up innings. He induces contact, ground balls, and they've got a good defense to put behind him. So, even without Bader being in center field, Dylan Carlson's still pretty good. Tyler O'Neill can play a good center field. So, I'm a little pissed about that one. I thought $13 million was not my money, but I thought that was a pretty decent value for what he delivered last year. And it was it was free agent year for him. I get it, right? Like, maybe there was a little bit of extra oomph in there that players say they don't put in a walk year, but I bet if you look at it statistically, their walk year is always fantastic. I guess most of the time, but I don't know. They didn't do enough Elliott, and I think it's gonna. I think it's going to create a problem again come late May, early June. We're going to see the same thing.
But here's the question to ask. We've talked about this before as it pertains to the Cubs and their inability to sign guys. Sometimes it's more than just money. And so everything I've read and seen is that he was happy in St. Louis.
Yeah.
But was it the fact that Yachty retired and also that he didn't exactly have the best stretch of his career when Wilson Contreras was catching?
Pete, that could, but I don't, maybe you could have a point there. I mean, I could definitely, maybe they did connect that dot, Pete. And that was one of the things. Well, you know what? This combo didn't work out too well.
And I'm not saying that it was necessarily on the Cardinals. Maybe it was on Quintana's camp. And he said, I don't want to throw to Wilson anymore. I had a horrible stretch. I worked things out. Yeah. I don't want to go back there because I want to get paid again. So I got a 2-year deal.
Yeah, interesting deal. Yeah. But he's one of the people, not the only person, one of the people that helped to sell Contreras on St. Louis a little bit. So
but he may have sold him on St. Louis. But did he sell him
just to ensure that he wouldn't? Just to ensure that he wasn't. Yeah, right. Like okay, now I know where he's going. So son of a bitch, I'm signing somewhere else.
Right.
Okay. Interesting idea. I don't quite think that, but I understand. I still think that whatever. So he's not there. They're still going to be dealing for somebody. Let's just say that. So, and I don't think it's going to be before spring training starts or after. I think it's going to be sometime in July. We're going to see them have to go out and get another pitcher.
I'm seeing Rich Hill, and who just said that he doesn't want to be done?
It's a good candidate.
Who was it? He pitched for the Cubs, and he was out like the last year or two, but he said he doesn't want his career to be done yet. Cole Hamels.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
Cole Hamels says that he wants to come back. So I'm seeing Cole Hamels and Rich Hill in the Cardinals starting rotation by the end of the year.
Wouldn't that be something?
Well, I mean, it's what you've done the last 2 years, right? You picked up
a couple for all of these
off the scrap heap.
With the exception Quintana, who kept playing, and Montgomery, who's only 30. If Hamels and Rich Hill make a stop in St. Louis this year, they will have to be considered the baseball hospice for lefty pitchers.
Right? I'm not gonna rule it out.
Yeah, come on, Grandpa Rich. We're gonna go for a little car ride, and instead of dropping him off in the nursing home, is dropping him off at Busch Stadium. Yeah.
Hey, as long as he can still drop that 12-6 curveball. All right, gents.
We're gonna run out of 40-plus-year-old lefties to be trading for here if they don't address this. Though.
You can never run out of 40-plus-year-old lefties. All right, gents.
Jamie Moyer still around?
I'm sure you could probably pull him out.
Yeah.
Retirement. I think he's retired, but I'm sure that he's still in shape well enough that he can get a couple guys out.
I think so.
I don't know that he could start, although you don't have to be able to give more than 3 innings anyway right now in baseball.
That's pretty normal. That's like a complete game these days.
It is. He could be an opener. All right, guys, I teased it on Twitter before we jumped on tonight. I don't know if you guys caught it, but I just saw this one. This is somebody who either we followed back because he follows us. Anyway, he retweeted this because I was wondering how this ended up, but this made me laugh. Made me laugh so much that Liam was like, "Dad, what's going on?" So in case you missed it, apparently there's some guy named Quinn in Medina, Ohio, who just puts out on Twitter, "If your name is Tony and your wife is at a gym in Medina right now, she's filing for divorce after your year-end bonus clears. For the woman on the treadmill next to me FaceTiming her lawyer."
Oh my God.
Oh, poor Tony.
I really want to follow up on this. I want to see what happens with this tweet because you know it's going to happen. It's going to get to the guy.
He's got some play on this one.
2,100 retweets.
Oh, he's up to 2,100 now.
I mean, it's incredible. He's got about 2,300 followers. Pretty good, right?
Likes. 1.1 million views is like the big thing, though.
Right.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I think once you get over 2,000 retweets, your views are going to be pretty damn high. That story's funny. I don't know if he's because I don't like to hear about stuff like this. I hope he's making it up just to get a laugh out there because it is pretty funny. If he's not, it's still pretty funny, and I feel sorry for Tony.
Yeah,
here's Medina, Ohio,
Northeast Ohio.
Okay,
that's rough, man. That is rough.
That sucks. And look at her waiting until the bonus clears.
Right.
That
sounds about right.
Freaking cruel.
That is brutal.
That is a ball kick. I hope Tony picks up on this.
Me too.
Or Anthony, or whatever you really go by.
That's right. Yeah, Tony, you need to get in touch with your lawyer right now, and you need to screenshot that tweet, buddy. Because you've got cause. You need to protect that bonus.
Wish you would have been more specific on the gym, though, right? There's probably like, I don't know, maybe in Medina, Ohio, there's not a ton of gyms.
I don't know if you went through everybody, all the comments under it, but there's some
some great ones, yeah.
Give us a sample, Elliott. You were brought on because you were supposed to be our social media expert, so give us a sample.
It's the guy in the pink shirt who's packing his suitcase, and he just stops. He's like,
"This is my favorite." I don't know if this is the Jon Stewart, but hang on. No, it's not. It's only 553 followers. So, but he has that fucking blue check mark, guys. I'm telling you, what a joke.
Oh, I know. It's so
but his reply, this Jon Stewart, not the Comedy Central Jon Stewart. Fuck. Right. I kind of wish my name was Tony.
All right. So looking at Medina, Ohio, I'm gonna guess it's not the Route 18 CrossFit. Probably not Prescription Fitness at the Medina Rec Center. I don't think it's going to be Orange Theory, because from what I know about Orange Theory, you're a little bit too active to be able to FaceTime with your lawyer. So could be Planet Fitness. That would sound about right. We got
probably a Planet Fitness.
Yeah, right.
Because she's there trying to get fit before she gets the divorce done.
She's getting ready to go back onto the market.
The revenge
right, that's right. So she can hit the market running.
That's right. Well,
with Tony's bonus.
Apparently, there's a place called Got Milt Health and Fitness, and I just wonder if that's a typo, because if I was going to open a gym and I was going to play off the Got Milk, I can't say it. Damn it, I ruined the joke. If I was going to play off the Got Milk thing, I would definitely call it Got MILF, not Got Milt.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to read.
Totally cater to women.
I'm going to read this one, and while I agree with the sentiment here, I'm still going to. A man in Utah literally just murdered his entire family because his wife filed for a divorce. How about we keep our noses out of people's lives without knowing the context? Well,
thanks a lot, Buzzkill.
Thanks a lot. Yeah. All right. Somebody named Tony. I can't pronounce his last name. Medina, you say? Question mark. First name's Tony. I wonder if that's the dude.
There was another one that was like, "Are you Tony Stank?"
Oh, Tony. Yes. All right. I can't. There's a lot of replies though. This has been a pretty popular one. All right. Yes, Pete. I'm glad you caught that somehow tonight. That's pretty funny.
Timing was perfect.
Guys.
Joke's on her. His year-end bonus is a membership to the Jelly of the Month Club.
Oh
man, send in Cousin Eddie.
I know us men deserve it though, right? We're all a bunch of pigs.
Yeah.
Let's get really uncomfortable quiet now.
Oh, that's good.
Should we follow this guy back? We don't follow this Quinn guy.
No, but we follow. We should follow Quinn so that we can get an update.
Yeah, I want to get an. I'm gonna. Oh, yeah. So I'm on ours. I'm gonna go ahead and just follow, just so we can stay in the loop here.
Good. Yeah, we don't want to lose this one, and we will obviously. We'll obviously keep you guys updated. In next week's episode, it'll be the Chronicles of Tony, season 7, episode 4. So we will circle back around in case you're not following Quinn. Shouldn't be too hard for you though, because we did quote tweet him earlier in the evening. So
yeah, just go to. I'm not going to go back and look up his handle.
You don't need to. Just go to our Twitter.
Go to our Twitter. Pete shot it out earlier tonight, so go check it out. Other than that,
I can't think of a better way to end the show.
No, I think that's a perfect way to end it, because we're in January. We know how this shit goes in January. This is a tough month. This is a grueling month as far as waiting for things. And then I'm already bored, Pete. Like, usually all the activity was done by January, and we literally just had to wait it out, right? Most of the movement, player movement, and everything was for every client, not under a guy named Scott Boras. Usually everything was pretty much wrapped up. But the last 3 or 4 years, it's been a whole different story. I'm already bored with it.
Well, yeah, because now we've reverted to what it used to be like, and we're so out of shape on it.
I'm out of shape.
Yes.
All right.
If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to comment and subscribe. And if you want to help spread the word, please give us a 5-star review. Tell your friends to do the same. We're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever else you listen to podcasts, as well as Rumble, Facebook, and YouTube. Be sure to check out the other Gateway City Sports Network podcasts, including the Derek King Sports Show, That's the Winter Podcast, Talking Sports in the Bleachers with Don Glenn, and 2 for 3 with Moose Michaels. Are any of the others back, or is that where we're at right now? That's
kind of where we're at right now. 2 for 3's been a couple shows have gone out here recently, and
and Ron, when do you launch the podcast?
Hey, I got a brand new from my brother-in-law, who's got season tickets to the XFL Battlehawks there near St. Louis. He got me a T-shirt, so I'll be sporting that.
Hey, speaking of which, I mean, we mentioned it before, but next time you're going to be in town, Ron, got to give us a heads up. One, because we need to do the first ever Team of Rivals meetup, and I think we should invite some of our listeners to join us if the three of us actually get together in the same room.
I don't want to do that.
And two, I have a whole stack of gifts.
Oh,
for you. Yeah, porn. I have a whole stack of gifts for you two that have accumulated over the years, and I'm tired of storing it. So get your asses up here so I can give it.
Now I feel obligated to go buy him something before I go to Chicago next time.
No, you don't have to do that because spending an hour with you every week is gift enough. You can find Elliott on Twitter at
TOR_Elliott.
And you can find Ron at.
You find Ron on his reactivated account at TOR_Ron75.
And you can find Quinn at Mind of Quinn on Twitter.
With
Follow
two
him
N's,
for
right?
updates.
Quinn with two N's.
On the Chronicles of Tony. Get in touch with us at the show at teamofrivalspodcast.com or on any social media channel at Team of Rivals Pod. Gentlemen, Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Happy
it will
New
be.
Year.
I have high hopes for 2023. Ellie, I don't feel like taking us out. Go ahead. Say goodbye to everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.
Literally.
Not the best color man in baseball for nothing, folks.
All right. We love you all so much. Talk to you next week. Bye-bye, everyone.